Hey y'all, hope y'all doing well. I'm doing a lot better. Some of y'all probably missed my post that I posted that I was in the hospital for a little bit. Um, it actually really messed with me. I don't know if you missed my last video. My last video, I talked about having like some heart palpitations, like my heart was skipping a beat. Well, what was it? Monday before last, 2 weeks ago, basically. I went into the doctor and because I had already this has been going on for 6 weeks where I've had like heart palpitations. And a few weeks prior, he had put a monitor. I had to wear a monitor for 24 hours, and of course, nothing happened. And so they didn't find anything. Well, fast forward a couple weeks ago, I had a couple of episodes on a Tuesday and a Friday, and I was like, man, this isn't cool, right? And so my wife made me an appointment for 2 Mondays ago to go in and see the doctor again. So we went in there and got on. He said we want to do a stress test, a treadmill. Get on the treadmill, hook you up, all the stuff, and do a stress test. So I said, okay, cool. I'm not scared of no treadmill, believe it or not. So me and my wife went into the room, and the nurse came in and hooked me all up, and I'm standing on the treadmill waiting for the doctor to come in to start administering the test. So I'm just sitting there watching my heart rhythms, my heart rate, and all that stuff. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, man, this thing jumped up to 80. I'm just standing there. It jumped up to 80, fell down to 60, jumped back up to 70, went to 60 again. I'm like, what the hell? Then it went to 55, and I'm like, damn, like why is it slowing down? Went to 50, and when it hit 50, I started feeling dizzy. And I told my wife, she was sitting there, I said, I'm feeling dizzy. And so she pulled her chair that she was sitting in right up next to the treadmill, and I went and kind of plopped down into it because I was really dizzy. Then I looked up at I'm looking straight at the monitor, and it says 45, and I'm starting to sweat like profusely, and I'm like laying back in the chair almost, and then the last thing I looked at, I saw 40, and I'm like, and I'm out. I'm not. I can hear what's going on around me, but I'm kind of just laid out in the chair and sweating profusely. And I can hear them, telling me, Jerry. I can feel them wiping my wife, wiping my head. And I just remember hearing faint, I'm sure they were right next to me yelling me, but they sounded so far away. And I was just thinking to myself, damn, is that the last thing I was going to see is 40? Like, that was the last thing I'm going to see in my life is my heart monitor at 40. I was like, that's some BS, man. And I was in that state for at least, they told me at least a minute or two. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, my heart rate started picking back up. And then I opened my eyes, and I remember seeing the heart monitor. I was still hooked up, and it said 60, and I'm like, okay, that's better. And then it's 65, 70, 75. And I'm like, oh man, that ain't cool at all. So I ended up during that period where I was out, they called 911, and ambulance. By the time I woke up, ambulance was just pretty much there. Took me to the hospital. And I spent, I don't know, it wasn't quite 2 days, but I spent a long time in the hospital, mostly in the emergency room. Then I got my own room, probably 18 hours in the emergency room, 18 hours in a room or something like that. And of course, they didn't find a thing. Ran all kinds of tests, nuclear radiation, all kinds of pictures and ultrasounds and machines, and nothing. And so I'm like, this ain't cool at all. So they're talking about possibly a pacemaker, and I'm like, man, I started reading up on pacemakers. Like I get the heebie-jeebies thinking about something implanted in me and stuff like that. So I'm like, ugh. Like I don't want to do that, but I mean, if I got to do what I got to do. So after they released me from the hospital, I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I need to start tracking it because I never tracked it. Like, is there a trigger? It always felt like it was just random. And so I started tracking my blood pressure, my heart rate, and then I started tracking what I eat, when did these episodes occur, all that stuff. And it occurred to me almost right away that caffeine is a major trigger for these heart palpitations. And I'm not even a huge caffeine drinker. Like, I'll have a cup of coffee every once in a while, or I have a soda after lunch or something, and that would be it. I'm not drinking 5 sodas. I'm not drinking 8 cups of coffee a day. I'm not a caffeine fiend, right? But I'll be damned. It was after caffeine, my heart would go nuts. Now, I've since cut out caffeine, and I'd say 98%, 95% of the heart palpitations are gone, completely gone, and I feel great. What the other 5% is triggered by, I have no idea. I'm going to experiment probably with sugar because I had a couple heart palpitations yesterday, the past couple of days after we ate some baked barbecue chicken, and the barbecue sauce, obviously most barbecue sauces are freaking filled with sugar. But I don't know, because I haven't had any other issues. I'd have raisins or fruit or something like that. Maybe because it's natural sugars, I don't react to it. But I haven't had that issue. But with caffeine, it really, really had that issue. So hopefully that, hopefully that puts me basically in the clear. Okay. It was scary though. I ain't gonna lie. For a few days, my mental state wasn't right. Cause I literally thought I was watching myself pass away, watching my heart rate go from 80 to 40. And then that was it. My eyes closed. I'm slumped over in the chair and sweating, and that was going to be it. So that really, really jacked me up. So thank y'all, those that saw the post and, saw me on Discord and all that stuff. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. The ones that do, appreciate it. And, hopefully all that's behind me. So we'll see, but welcome to 50. I just turned 50 on May 30th, and then June, 6th or whenever that was. What was the date on that I fell out? It was June 9th. I had this situation. So, hopefully that's it, for a while. Hopefully I stay healthy and, cutting out caffeine. I had decaf coffee. I switched to decaf coffee and no issues whatsoever. So, what do you know? Anyhow, so what I've been doing, I've been off of work for a long time. I've been off of work. Last day I worked was Friday, June 5th. I usually have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, but Thursday, June 5th was the last day I worked, and I won't be going back to work till next Tuesday, the 24th. So I've been off for a while. Can't say that it's been good because it's just been a staycation, done a couple of things around the house, stuff like that. But just really wanted to nail down why I'm having these issues, and bought me a little. These are kind of cool. I'll link it down below. These are wrist blood pressure monitor that I'll put down below. But that got delivered to me overnight, and it really, on the notes thing on my phone, really record everything. And it really helped me nail down that thing. And I'm having no problems with my blood pressure at all. My heart rate though kind of worries me sometimes because it gets down. Like last night, it was like at 62, and I'm like, I know that's normal, but it's still, it's when I see it, it's a little too close for comfort. But anyway, I'm gonna link that down there because if you want to track your heart rate or blood pressure, that's an easy, cool way to do it. And it's battery free. You just charge it with a USB cord or whatever. So that's cool. So you notice, I remember last time I made a video, I complained about not having my ceiling fans. I finally got my ceiling fans installed. There goes my son walking behind me. He probably won't say hi, but finally my guys came and got my ceiling fans installed in all 2 bedrooms and 1 in the living room, and I changed this one out. This one was a tiny, small white one. So I got that all done. But other than that, that's not as much. I want to do a lot of things, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So what else have I been doing this week? Past couple weeks, I've been experimenting with on the market, going back to the market now. I'm probably going to change the name of my channel and focus and all that stuff because I'm not really. We'll see how this goes, but I've been experimenting with 0DTE trades, and I gotta say, this week was extremely successful. But I only have such a small sample size, so I know somebody wanted me to make a video. How do you pick your strikes and how do you look? I'm going to show you, but to be totally 100% honest with you, it works, and it's just like anything. It's probably going to work until it doesn't work, and when it doesn't work, you're going to hate it. So, but for this week at least, it worked very well. And what it is spreads, wide spreads on the NASDAQ index, the NDX. Okay, and you want to see, like, let me switch over cameras here. There we are. So if you see here, it's on the NDX, expires the same day. And the width of the strikes is 5 wide, so $5,000. I'm not doing a single wide. So like the one I did today, for instance, I sold the 21,200 strike and I bought the 21,150 strike for $100 credit. And, at the time, NASDAQ was selling for 21,600. So fairly safe downside. Now, how did I pick that strike? And I'm going to show you. So I went over here to my watch list, my index watch list, chose NASDAQ, right? So this is the NASDAQ 100 index. This is not going to be 100% accurate because the market's closed. So we go to Chart Plus. When I go to Chart Plus, I like to click on Analysis. And what this does, it's usually not totally up to date. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a few days old. But they give you some lines of resistance and support. I don't know what they use for this, to be totally honest with you. I don't care. I just want to know the number. So their first line of support is 21,200. So that's where I go to look, 21,200. Now on the call side, they want 22,200. So that's where I go and look. If the NASDAQ is trading up, I'll go look on the call side. If it's trading down like it did today, I'll go look on the put side. So if we look on the put side and we go to 21,200, now here's the issue with me showing you this today, is that this is going to be showing for Monday expiration. So if I chose 21,200, if I sold this today and we went 5 wide, that is, you can get $320. But I don't have anything open for the weekend. I didn't want the way, the world is going right now. I didn't want exposure over the weekend. So if I sold this today, I'm exposed to the news that's going on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Things can go horribly wrong in the world, and then this could all be for naught. So this would probably be when the market opens, like or I should say for right now, this is an 8 delta, but if the market opened, it would probably be a 4. Okay, so if we went down to 4, because I've been looking at 4s and things like that. So yeah, the ones that I've been selling have been in the 3 to 5 delta range for the day. So that's probably, if we go to 21,100 and the 21,050, you get $200. This is going to be inflated right now because typically what I've been getting is about, if you look at it, got $150 on one, $85, $145, $65, $105, $150, etc., etc. So I'd like to get 100. That's my goal. That's what I got today. On some of these, I got a little greedy, and my little butt puckered a little bit on some of these, especially like this one that I did on the 17th at 21,650. I got $150 for it, but I was like, oh, because it was in the money for a second, and that's not, that's why I said it's going to work until it doesn't work. But that's why I started, getting a little safer down here. If you look in the 18th, I got a lot safer. 21,100, 21,050. The call side was 22,1, 22,150. Put side on the 18th, 21,350. I didn't dare get very close, and today's was 21,200, 21,150. For a grand total, the week was great. Grand total of $901.40 profit for the week. But like I said, it's going to work until it doesn't, right? So I guess it would pay to pay attention to what's going on. Is Tyrone Powell going to be speaking? That type of stuff. Are they going to announce interest rates? Is a bomb going to be dropped somewhere? Those type of things certainly matter in 0DTE, because even though these are 4 delta or 3 delta or whatever they are, they definitely can happen. One of these days, some bad news can come out and it can happen. But your range of risk is shorter. So a 5 delta with say you put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning, you got 5 hours of risk, if that makes sense. That's why like I said, I didn't put anything on today, because I didn't want 60 hours of risk. I'd rather have 5 hours of risk, and I'd rather make less money and have shorter risk horizon, if that makes any sense. So that's how I pick my strikes. Like I said, don't take this for, anything great. No, the return on investment is low. Return on capital, I make 2%. A lot of people are like, they want to see, 26%, 10%. They want to make a third of the width of the strike. And I don't care about that. I want it as safe as possible in the short time horizon. So like I said, I have very small window of evidence here. So I'm going to be I'm going back to work next week, but I'm going to probably be switching up my schedule a little bit, because I used to work mornings a lot. Might work afternoons or evenings next week to see if I can, because I don't care to $900 a week would be fine. But if I made 450, might half that, I'd be ecstatic, because that would be basically almost doubling my salary for my job. So that would be great. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys are well, And I'm going to leave that Amazon link to my little cute blood pressure cuff down there if any of y'all are interested. If you're not interested, use my Amazon link to buy whatever you want to buy, because they send me a small little commission for every little piece that you buy. So appreciate y'all. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.